for
Recording
open
in
forum?
progress.
No.
Nope. Okay, so let's dive into the reserve fund transfer request. And I think we have Kyle. There he is.
Good evening. Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. I'm here tonight to request a reserve fund transfer of up to $35,000 for the purpose of purchasing a new 2023 model year pickup truck for the Highway Division of Public Works. The need for the truck stemmed from an accident that happened a few weeks ago with one of our employees avoiding a deer on a road and ended up running into a tree, unfortunately. And the insurance company, after reviewing the truck, determined that it was a total loss. It is, yeah. And so the insurance company has offered us $22,747 as a replacement value for the truck. And so we would propose to use the additional $35,000 to be able to buy that new 2023 truck as a replacement. The truck is used by our crew supervisors. We have 3 highway crew supervisors, 1 cemetery crew supervisor, and 1 parks crew supervisor. Each one has their own pickup truck that they use while at work for various things, managing the team, inspecting projects, towing equipment, hauling materials, etc. And it's a key piece of equipment for our employees. We do not have any extra pickups that can be used. And should we not be able to purchase a new truck, we'd have to make other arrangements, such as putting the crew supervisor into a 1-ton truck, and that would trickle down to meaning 1 less 1-ton truck for the crew to use for when they're out on various projects and have to use more 6-wheel dump truck time. Part of the urgency for the purchase is the group we're working with for the purchase is a state-approved vendor, and they have a 2023 model year truck in stock, which is rare these days, as we all know. So that would allow for 2 things. One, we'd be able to get the truck within a month or so after they upfit it, get the plow on it, do the spray bed lining, etc. And 2, it'd be an estimated $8,000 cheaper than a 2024 model year truck. The getting it sooner is really evident from the current purchasing we're trying to do at the annual town meeting this past spring. The townspeople approved some vehicles for us to purchase. We sent out the purchase orders in April, and we still don't have those trucks due to a number of issues: chip shortages, supply chain issues, the strike that the auto workers went on this summer, etc. So we're finding that it's probably 12 months to get new vehicles, at least at this point. So for all those reasons, I'm hoping you will all be supportive of this purchase. I did coordinate with Sue Thomas, our sustainability coordinator, on the Green Communities program, and trucks of this size are exempt from the Green Communities policy because there are no trucks in this caliber of work truck that would meet the mile per gallon requirements. So there is an exemption for vehicles with a gross vehicle weight rating of 8,500 pounds or more, and this truck certainly would be in that caliber. I'd be happy to answer any questions you folks might have, and yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Just quick question for Dan. What is our reserve fund balance?
That's the first question.
You're muted.
Yeah, definitely an echo, but yeah, if everybody else mutes, I think we can get rid of that.
current reserve fund balance is 125,000 for the general fund.
So we haven't used anything.
We haven't used anything.
Nothing yet. Nope. Nothing yet. Nope.
Thanks. Tom?
Tom?
Yeah, just one quick thing, and that's I see that this was planned to be replaced in FY28 through capital. Obviously, this particular vehicle would be removed from that plan. Looking ahead, would that end up doubling up a year, or would we shift years to continue to have a kind of even replacement plan on trucks?
Yeah, great question, Tom. So the way we approach vehicle replacements is we developed a 15-year look ahead for all of our vehicles and equipment, and in the matrix there's a scheduled replacement time for each vehicle. Because of the backlog of vehicles we have, we've extended the replacement schedule out to try and make it fit into what the town can afford. So this truck would, the proposed replacement for the new truck would be based on its new model year. So if we receive it in 2023, 24, we would look out to 12 or so years for its next replacement. So it wouldn't slot into the vehicle it's replacing. It would be based on its current year and then condition once we get out that far.
Anyone else have a question? Ingrid?
So is the 23 I don't know why it's echoing so much, sorry. The 23 the ideal year, or did you look at older models as well?
I'm sorry, you broke up at the very end there.
Did you look at older models?
We didn't. The reason we didn't, the manufacturers that we utilize don't carry used stock. They only carry new. I did do some internet searching to see if what the retail prices on trucks and see if there was anything that would be better for us. And of course, used truck prices are out of control, and looking at a retail truck for off the lot of the same caliber that we're proposing, it was about $10,000 more to buy a truck retail.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, could I get a motion to approve reserve fund transfer in the amount of $35,000?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, thanks. And by roll call, Dennis? I see your mouth moving, Dennis, but you're muted.
Aye.
There we go. Tom?
Aye.
Ingrid?
Aye.
Shinji?
Aye.
Okay, thanks. Beth?
Aye.
And Shelby, are you there?
Yes, aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye, so that passes unanimously. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you all so much. Have a great night.
Thanks. Okay, so moving on to our 7:15 agenda item, the FY25 budget discussion. And this was really just meant to be sort of a general, more logistics and timeline kind of discussion, just so that we're all aware and gearing up for most likely a pretty long and grueling budget season. On December 12th, Kristen presented the two budgets. I assume, I saw some of you in the audience, and I spoke to several of you after. So I assume, people will either have seen it or will see it and realize that there are two budgets. There's essentially a no override budget and an override budget, just to make it simple. The budget in option number 2, the override amount, as Kristen explained, is not set in stone yet. There were some, sort of guidelines and suggestions by her to take care of various things, but as we go through the budget hearings with the select board, that number may be refined, and there'll be lots of discussion on that. So I just wanted everyone to realize that we still need to kind of work through that to see what the best plan is. For now, we'll leave the timeline alone. It was in your packet with all of our budget hearings and the meetings, laid out. I'm guessing we may need to add a meeting at some point, but we'll kind of work through that as we go through the next couple months to see where we need something, whether it's at the end or in the middle or both, or whatever. Does anyone have any questions on kind of the timeline and how we'll move through?
No.
Nope. Okay. So as far as the budget hearings, for some logistics, sort of thinking that maybe we want to do a hybrid meeting because there may be residents that want to give feedback in person, or obviously they could do it in Zoom. But I just wanted to get a feel for how the committee, do you think a hybrid meeting is worth it? Tom, go ahead.
So my take on this is Zoom is great for reaching people that are comfortable with technology. But I think if we're looking to reach as many people as possible, I think a hybrid model is best, in my opinion. It gives those people that do not want to sit in front of a computer, but actually want to see people, the opportunity at least to come to town hall or schools or wherever we decide that that's appropriate. So yeah, that would be my preference, is to go to a hybrid model. It just opens it up to as many people as possible, whether they show up or not. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Dennis?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that I think it's very important to remember that we went to the Zoom meeting as a contingency plan for COVID. And I think there's a lot of folks that are interested in having us go back to some extent to the way that things were done prior to that. I think the hybrid model kind of addresses that for people, and I would support the idea.
I see Ingrid nodding. Okay, wait, we don't need to take a vote or anything. Oh, Tom, go ahead.
Sorry, I just remembered. I would also like Dan's input as a staff member that works these meetings, and if we can ask Kristen after as well. I know she's going to have a ton of meetings that are in person and whatnot, so I know scheduling can be challenging there too.
So as staff, we're gonna do what we need to do. If you want to meet as hybrid, Kristen and I will both show up. We already discussed that, so that's fine with us. It's good to see everybody in person too, so that will be nice. Yeah, the only thing with the hybrid meetings is that we do need a quorum of FinCom members present at the meeting in attendance. So if people are sick or whatever, like, you just have to let us know early, because we may have to post a meeting to be completely remote if that's the case. So I think we just have to be a little more conscious. We might be in contact more leading up to the meeting just to make sure. So please respond to whatever emails or texts we send out to you just to confirm attendance.
Yeah, thanks for that reminder, Dan. Yeah, so we need at least 5 people in the room in order to go ahead with that. So the other thing is, as far as department heads go, I didn't have a preference. I was going to leave it up to them whether they wanted to, remote in or be there in person, just because I know it's late at night and some of them live far away. And so unless anyone has an objection to that, I'm going to leave that up to them. Is that okay? That sounds fine. Another, again, little sort of logistic little thing. If you want to you don't need to bring a laptop, but if you would like to be able to see who else is online and you have a device to bring, it would be beneficial. If not, if you could let Dan know if you would like a Chromebook, then they have, you have like 6 or something. There's like some smaller number of Chromebooks I think that Dan has available to use. And we'd kind of gotten out of the habit of printing the packets. So if somebody particularly needs one, maybe let Dan know, but if not, you know, we can access them online or however you'd like to do that. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that this I'd asked the school committee how they do it, and they just access the packets online themselves with their own devices. If they want to bring them, they do, to log into the meeting so that they can see how many people may be attending online, but I don't think many of them actually do. So just as another point of reference. Let me see. Format of the meeting. Oh, Dan?
Yeah, for that first meeting, with everybody being new to this, we may want to show up early just to get set up. Because there's certain things that we do to everybody's device so that you can access those meetings. So it might be worthwhile to come early that first Thursday meeting, just so I can help you get logged in and whatnot. So I'll probably be there at 6 o'clock just to, you know, help whoever shows up. But as we get closer to go time for 7, we might not be able to help you. So need
Okay.
help.
Sounds great. Thanks. Dan, Dennis, sorry.
I just have a question, Chris, with regard to the use of the laptop at the meeting. I mean, what would be the purpose again, if you could repeat it, as to why we would need to bring it if we're there? I mean, there's a great screen up there and everything else, so I was just a little confused as to why we need to bring the laptop.
There's really no particular need. It's
Okay.
just if you wanted to access the online documentation in front of you, you could. Or do you know how, like, when we're logged in here to Zoom, you can go down to the participants and see the attendees if you cared about seeing that. That's really it. So
Okay,
there's
I
really
got
no,
you. Thank
yeah,
you.
there's no particular reason. We can go totally, you can go totally back to old school and just have have the paper in front of you if you'd like, Dennis. That's totally fine. Okay, a couple other things. So I went over, the department heads. So the format of the meeting, the last year or two, I've had the department heads come in when it's their turn and kind of give a brief overview of, the changes from last year, anything major, things like that. This year I'll have them do the same thing, but obviously it'll be, what's the difference in the two budgets and how does it specifically relate to maybe whether it's FTE counts, any sort of services, any service reductions that residents would notice, things like that. We normally send questions ahead of time, but I think this year we probably want to just give a little thought to, if the department heads don't go over certain things that we found very interesting or different between the two budgets or something, we may want to bring those up again pointedly, if there's something just for the public. Let's see what else. And then of course, again, just for the public, after the board members have their chance to ask any questions, I will open it up to residents that are either in the room or online. I'm not sure we generally don't have many questions, but I'm anticipating it could be different this year. I think that's about it for that. Any questions before we go into the FinCom book assignments, Dennis?
Yeah, I wanted to suggest, especially the folks who are new, one of the ways of really making sure that the discussion is productive is that, and I understand that Tom and I will be working on the school committee budget together. I'll get together with you, Tom. It's very important, if you can, to make an appointment to go see those folks after you review the budget and have that one-on-one with them and ask the questions that you really think are important. You know, we do the questions, and those are good. They cover some general ideas, but I think if you've got a particular assignment that's given to you, my recommendation is, and it's always been fruitful, is to actually try to go see the head of that department and ask those questions that you really think are important directly to them, so that during the meeting, if there's information comes out, you have that frame of reference that you can inform the rest of the members of the finance committee about. So just to want to throw that out, that's all.
Yeah, excellent point. Tom?
Yeah, the other thing I thought of today was whether or not we want to essentially put in information out there to the public, like how to submit questions for us to ask ahead of time. You know, my experience as a department head is I like to have the questions. I like to be able to know the answers to the test before I show up, basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's much more efficient for the departments and other committees that are coming before us to have the answers rather than to have to say, oh, I'll get that answer for you next time. So I just don't know if it would be beneficial to have a news and announcement sent out with an email address just to do that, or if we work with, and when I say we on this one, I'm volunteering myself to work with Mike Wells to get a form put up on the website that, you know, allows people to, you know, submit a question, go to the right people. So,
Dan, do you think maybe you and I can talk to Kristen about that to see if, and Tom Clay, because I imagine they're going to be getting questions too.
Yeah, I mean, Kristen Wright in her presentation said to reach out to her for any questions, so it would be not necessary to consolidate them all. Like anybody can ask any one of us a question, we can bring it forward. But yeah, why don't we have that discussion with Kristen, then see how to proceed with that, so we're organized.
Sounds good. Okay. FinCom book assignments. So some people did get back to me, and I, you know, kind of made touch base with some people. So we have about half of the sections divvied up, and we still have the other half to go. So for education, Dennis and Tom both expressed interest, and I had spoken to them, so they're gonna work on that together. I think it'll be, that's, you know, it's half the budget, so it's certainly not bad to have two people working on that and kind of coming from, you know, slightly different angles. Health and Human Services, Beth, you had wanted to do that. Yep. And Ingrid, culture, recreation, and the rec enterprise, still good with that. Heather is going to do capital. I'll take unclassified because that's basically the health insurance. Shinji is going to do general government. So we still have public safety, which will include the ambulance enterprise, public works, debt service, water enterprise, stormwater enterprise, community preservation, and revenue. So if anybody has a dying wish to do any one of those, raise your hand.
so not to volunteer staff time, but I see that Dan took the revenue last year, and I think he's kind of the expert on the revenue among us.
I was
So
kind of gonna suggest that, Dan, if you wouldn't mind, and then
Really trying to
kind of fill in.
unload that this year, but that's okay. I'll take it on.
Okay.
I mean, if you need to unload it, I think we can get someone to take it, but
No, that's fine. I can do that.
Yeah, I can certainly help out.
I'd be happy to do the community preservation.
Great. That'd be great, Shelby. They start meeting in, Dan, do you know when they start meeting?
Third week in January, there's probably 3 meetings they'll have, and they're all by Zoom. So I think they're usually Tuesday nights. So
Okay, great.
That'd be great. I'll take public safety and ambulance. And then what do we want to give Hari since he's not here?
Whatever we want.
We want to do stormwater or public works or
Well, he did water before, so maybe he's familiar with that.
there we go.
So
That sounds good. Why don't we
And
give him
Dan-
water and stormwater or
I was gonna say, Dan, can you confirm that water enterprise and stormwater would be the same people to talk to anyway?
Yes. That actually makes a lot of sense to do that.
okay. That sounds good. Then let's put Hari down there as well. Debt service.
I can, I'll do debt service.
Okay.
And that would be talking with Dan primarily, I believe, right?
And Christine. She's the expert.
Okay. Okay, excellent. And just not to be nitpicky, Dan, but it is a lowercase f.
No. Okay. So Public Works is the last one. And just anybody want to take that on? If not, maybe I can get Heather to do that one.
I don't think she should object to it.
Probably not. Why don't we pencil Heather in and I'll talk to her about that. And if there's an issue, then we'll figure it out.
One question.
Yep, go ahead, Dennis.
I have a question for Dan. When will the school budget be ready for review? Will be included in the packet, or is it delayed still?
They actually just presented it last night to the school committee, so I will get those documents. I'll send them out to you. Dennis, if you want me to print you a copy, I will do so.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Dennis, they had two presentations. They had one on December 4th and then another one last night. And then they're going to be meeting as a school committee again on January 2nd. And I think there was another, they weren't going to take their vote until I want to say January 16th. Yeah,
That's correct. Something like that.
But they're,
Sorry, if I can just weigh in on that real quick.
Sure.
Dennis, I would recommend going back to watch last night's meeting. Principal Toomey did a really detailed basically impact of the Prop 2.5 restricted budget, basically.
Okay.
So okay.
I will watch that.
okay. I lost. I think we done with this. So then, there we go. Sorry, I'm just finding my agenda. Okay, FinCom book assignments, boarding committee updates. Again, I kind of just like to have this here in case there's anything new. And the one thing here is our community preservation liaison is vacant, but Shelby, I'm assuming that you can fill that spot since you're going to do that part of the book that obviously kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, great. It's not a formal liaison process. It's more just kind of, touching base with them and listening to the meetings. Beth?
I'm just wondering if Dennis and Tom want to be the point person for the school committee since they're taking that on with the budget, or
Probably
I
makes sense.
kind of pay attention, but I'm not really I'm not going to every meeting. And
Yeah.
I think they also have
So
a finance subcommittee that I'm not sure if anyone's attending that.
yeah, so I will say that I am very interested in certain parts of the budget for the schools this year, so I am planning on attending
Well,
most,
good.
if not all of them. So I can certainly do
Sounds
that.
Sounds like a candidate for the liaison to me.
Sounds good. Thank you. Anything else? I don't.
With that, I would be interested if someone would take the permanent town building as an exchange, because I think school committee is going to be a pretty heavy lift
Yeah,
for this year. So
saw that. Anyone interested in permanent town building?
Do they
Are
still
they-
meet Mondays?
Currently meeting or?
As far as I know,
Yeah, I can't do it then.
They meet Mondays. I could probably do that.
okay, thanks, Beth. Okay. I think that takes care of everything. And we are, all right, our future meetings. So on January 9th, which is a Tuesday, at the select board meeting, we're gonna be having a joint meeting. I believe the school committee is there as well. Dan, is that right? Is that all? I think that's all three boards.
All three boards, yeah.
Yep. We're gonna be having a meeting for the upcoming budget cycle, so there'll be quite a bit of discussion that night. So just keep that in mind, and you know, if you can't come, please let myself and Dan know. And then our budget hearings will start January 11th and go pretty much every Thursday through February 1st. And then, you know, we have a couple at the end there for the warrant articles and if we need anything else. Tom?
is the tri-board a hybrid meeting?
So I know the select board usually does hybrid. I'm trying to think if we should probably make a commitment. I would say we should try to be there in person if we can.
I would agree.
Okay, is that gonna be the same type of thing that we need to have a quorum, or because it's the select board meeting? Like, do we need the quorum in the room?
I think we're probably going to need the quorum in the room because I
Okay.
imagine it's not going to be like the budget presentation where it wasn't a big deal that we didn't have a quorum, because generally we don't really deliberate or do much of anything. But I think this meeting we're going to want to speak and possibly deliberate.
Okay, so yeah, I just want to be as clear as possible and make
Yep.
sure that we're following all the
No,
needed
that's-
rules. So
That's great. Thank you. If we have a problem getting a quorum in the room, then Dan, can we post separately as virtual?
We can do that, yes.
Okay,
But I don't know what that means for people who show up. This hasn't happened before, so let me talk to Kristen and just make sure it's okay that we do that.
okay. That'll be a contingency plan that I'll keep in the back of my mind in case we have an issue. So let's try to be there on January 9th at Town Hall. Ingrid?
I was just thinking of the space with 3 boards and staff. Is that meeting room big enough?
Actually, I shouldn't even say that it's going to be in the Town Hall because I'm not sure.
I just wanted to kind of get that on in the thought process that, you know, we might need a bigger space.
yeah, school committee was actually even talking about trying to move their meetings around a little bit, depending on space. So yeah, that might be a consideration in talking to Kristen is if all 3 boards are gonna meet there, it's all the seats.
Yeah. We'll get that worked out and everyone will, you know, we'll make sure everyone knows where to be on the 9th. I don't really have anything else. Oh, shoot, you know what? I skipped right over approval of minutes. Okay, sorry. Let's go back and do minutes. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at those? Yep. Okay. Any comments, or can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
So
to
moved.
approve.
Okay, Dennis will give you the motion and Ingrid the second, or
Second, sure.
however you heard that, Dan. Okay, by roll call, Dennis,
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Ingrid,
Aye.
Shinji,
Aye.
Beth.
I'm gonna abstain. I think I missed this meeting.
Okay, Shelby.
I've seen as well. I wasn't there.
Okay, and I'm an I. So that passes. Okay, so again, future meetings are listed there. We do have the timeline in your packet, just kind of make note of the question dates and oh, one thing I did neglect to mention, whichever section you are for the finance committee book, you're going to be the one, and this is more for Shinji and, well, Shelby, I think you did this last year, but you're going to be sort of the gatherer of all the questions for that section. And obviously if you can, just with the difficulty with the budget this year, just do an extra deep dive into whatever your section is. We'll kind of look to those people to talk to the department heads like Dennis mentioned, and kind of be the sort of the expert of that area for this time around. I think our first set of questions is due on January 3rd. I believe it's education, and I can't remember what else is first up, but it's in that packet. It's in the packet.
So Tom,
Okay.
I'm gonna reach out to you at some point to get some contact information so you and I can talk offline.
Yep, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Great. Anybody have anything else? Nope. Great. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Great, thanks, everyone. Just
Good night, Chris. Good night,
good
everybody.
night. Thank
night.
you,
Night.
everyone.
I'll see you tomorrow. We up